What's up, everyone? We're back for some more Mecha Break gameplay. The beta unfortunately has ended, but I did want to at least show off one more video because I never got around to make a video for Stego, and they were one of the two new strikers in this beta. Everything else but Stego and Panaka had been featured in the previous beta I had participated in. So I was actually planning on making a Stego video pretty early on, but I didn't play them a whole lot the first couple days because they were a very popular pick. And a lot of other people were picking them, and by the time I started playing them, I think people had kind of started to figure out the formula for how to beat them. Stego is, of course, incredibly strong, definitely the best DPS striker in the game, at least if you're just counting pure damage. Some of the melee, some of the snipers can probably do a bit more direct damage than Stego, because he does have to get through shields. But we're just talking about straight up damage in general. Stego is hard to beat in that category, but despite that really high damage, he does have to deal with the fact of getting through fluid shields and just regular shields in general. As we see, they do have a hurricane on the enemy team. And of course, you're also quite immobile, and while you're tanky, you're not as tanky as Tricera, and you lack some of the great defensive tools that Tricera has. Notably, the shield that goes around you when you go in turret mode on Tricera will parry melee attacks, which is a very good answer to pretty much every melee attack, but the Welkin spin, where it doesn't help too much against that. Stego, on the other hand, only has this front-facing shield, which is pretty good against range attacks, and can disrupt melee strikers a little bit. As you saw, that Panther, it took a bit of his lance charge going into that shield, and it keeps them from passing through. So it can help a little bit with that, but definitely not as strong as Tricera's ability to parry melee attacks and deflect damage from every single direction all at once. And as you can see, I am getting focused down pretty quick here, and that's really what I meant about people figuring how to play around Stego. Like I said, you are the best damage dealer, and smart teams will realize they can't just leave you alone to do that. So they've got a very good defensive setup here. The Hurricane especially is diverting away a lot of my damage, and I can't really do a lot about that, while this Panther swats at me from behind like an annoying fly, forcing my healers to do all they can to just keep me alive. And even that might not be able to keep me alive too much longer, because they're getting closer and closer to getting capping that middle point with how much setup they've got there. I'm trying to just shell away, but they've got the Welkin box, the Hurricane shields, everything going. I'm firing and firing everything I've got, but that does not work out, and they're able to take me out there. Thankfully, we were able to capture one of the side points. It looks like they actually captured the other one, so while A point is still unclaimed, me going down there means it'll be a little bit harder for us to defend it. Maybe Lumine can, with their AoE damage, just tick them away and prevent them from getting that. But they've got such a good defensive setup there with multiple shields and both the turret strikers set up there. So we're going to have a hard time breaking that. And that sucks for me because as Stego, you're not the best at playing aggressively on objectives. Really, you kind of have to go into that defensive role. That's why Shipyards is one of your best maps. You and Tricera both just sitting on those carts and shelling away from there. Here you can see already I'm taking a long time just to get over to C to check on it. I want to make sure they don't get that full cap. And I do arrive here just in time as Welkin is going for a Hurricane 2, and there goes the double shield again. I'm going to try everything I can to stop them, but that is going to be the full cap for them, and I'm feeling a little bit lost right now as Stego, because Hurricane and Welkin are probably the two strikers I want to fight the least. Hurricane is going to make it so I can barely do any damage, and Welkin I have very little I can do defensively against. Going to be way more, going to be way scarier than even Panther once they get up on top of me, because that spin is just going to deal tons and tons of damage and make it hard to run away. But we got to make something happen here. I'm going to put up my shield, try and block off the Tricera, so maybe my teammate can cap A, and they are able to get that successfully. And now this is a little bit better spot to play from. Stego, you know, I don't have to move as much to defend the middle area. I can go to these edges and poke away at the other ones, especially if we already have them capped. If it's not Hurricane or Welkin and someone with a shield like that can block my damage, I can just fire a couple rockets there. I don't even have to lock on. Just enough to poke them and prevent them from capping the point. But we do need to cap those points first. And for now, I'm kind of stuck still defending A point, but we get a couple kills here. Looking back over at C, I think I see maybe a Hurricane decoy still sitting there. One of my teams is heading over. Hopefully they can cap that. I think I will be better served staying middle still, helping to take out that Stego, and their Lumine is going to charge in, going for the point. I don't know if he realized that we were all looking at him. He's not going to be able to pull that off, and does have to back up. And once we get at least one other one, we might be in a good spot. We do get it, but Welkin is in on me, and this is scary. Like I said, one thing I've learned, though, Stego versus Welkin, it's tempting to just run away because of how scary Welkin is, but you really have to kind of keep shooting him as he's charging after you, because especially if the rest of your team is not going to be able to kill him, your best defense against a Welkin is your offense. So you kind of just have to do a lot of damage to him, maybe force him to back up. You can see there, I got him down to half. Lumine is trying to help, but not enough DPS on just the healer there. And we got him pretty low, though, so you might get killed after that. Did an okay distraction. Looks like the rest of our team did actually get a full 3-point cap. But that is just a hard fight to deal with, especially when you had those decoy drones, or the boomerang drones going as well, to prevent me from being able to dash away in between the spins. But hopefully we can get back center point, and even if he's not taken out, he'll still be kind of low, because I don't actually know if the enemy team has any healing outside of Tricera this time around. So while they've got a very tanky shield-based setup, I think the damage we deal to them is probably going to stick unless they can set up on a defensive Tricera spot. And they were able to recap B. The A point is still ours, so like I said, going to try and get there and do my defensive setup again. Looks like there is Welkin still alive, but he's kind of low. He puts up the box. Gonna see if I can shell through that. I do. That goes down, so he's not gonna be able to get that cap for free. He's coming back in on me though. Gonna back up. Don't want to be in range of that spin. I think his boomerang drones are down. Doesn't seem to be using them. But flying up high, actually a decent option as well. I think they actually nerfed Stego's ability to aim up higher compared to before. I know Stego got some small nerf. I don't know exactly what it was, but it sounded like it was something along those lines. But trapped in the box again. Able to put out my smoke, make it difficult for him to get in on me, and we are able to take out Welkin before he kills us for the second time, thankfully. But while that happened, they captured A again. I'm going to see here, though, if I can make a play with Panaka, get our walls up, but enemy Lumine is coming in. Okay, so they do have an additional healer, and he's getting those damage drones on me, so that's going to be constant damage, preventing me from capping the point. We finish him off, going for the cap here with Falcon, and we are able to get that, and we're back to a 2-point hold, and we're getting close to actually taking back the lead. Pretty rough start with them getting that 3-point cap early on, but now we're the ones with all 3 points. And there we go, sliding into the lead. But Welkin is back again, and I'm getting real sick of him at this point. I'm like, please, team, help me. And some of them they are coming in, but my own cloaking field is actually going to make it a little bit more difficult for them. The enemies pass through that cloaking field, they also get taken from view. So while that did keep me alive, it did prevent my teammates from cleaning him up as fast as they might have been able to. But we kind of scared him back. Just going to keep firing away, not going into turret mode because I don't want to let him close the distance easily. Doesn't get me in the box that time, and he is going to have to run away. And I thought maybe he was going to dip lower, but then I realized he's actually probably going straight for the C-point cap. Try to fire some rockets that way, and a little bit too late, even though I got the hit. And there goes our 3-point hold. But we still got a pretty good lead off of that, so we're kind of okay. Here comes Hurricane, and a whole bunch of their team members was not actually ready for their whole team to come jumping across all at once. Was expecting that level of coordination, but had to pop the smoke, backing up a little bit. Gonna come back in, see if I can deal some damage. See, Hurricane is away from the drones, trying to get them there. Some of my damage. Still got somewhere by the decoy, and they're really low, but another decoy and the bubble shield, and I'm just worried about them capping the point right now, so I decided to let the Hurricane live for now. Giving chase as Stego might prove to be a little bit difficult. Coming in and shelling away this Tricera, preventing him from capping the point. But it's both the turret boys there, and Hurricane has come back, firing at me from the side. I'm just firing everything I've got, doing that, trying to get that AoE damage, but somehow, even though I was getting all those hits, one of them was back far enough, I guess, that the AoE did not hit him. And they're able to get that cap, and now they've got a 2-point hold. I think if things stay as they are, we might still get the lead, but a 3-point cap could turn things back into their favor again and swing things around. We're going to have to see what the situation is when we come back alive. Hurricane's really low, though. Hopefully he got cleaned up after my death. We can see him slowly kill me there from the side. Maybe chasing him down would have been the better play, but I really wanted to contest the point since that's really all I could do as Stego there. Coming back in. Looks like we do still have C points, but I'm not the only one respawning. I think that's Panther there with me, too, and they do get the 3 cap. So now things are looking scary. Even though we've got this over 100-point lead, it is quickly going away. So I'm going to make my way over to middle point. I see Welkin, though, and I'm immediately worried because he's someone who can put a box on it and just cause me trouble in general, but he seems to be focused elsewhere. Put down my shield, my smoke, and he's not even trying to stop me. He could have just come in with the spin and really gotten my face and prevented me from capturing that point, but he had other things on his mind and ran away, and it looks like most of their team is actually stuck defending B point. So we're actually pretty okay here in the middle. Just Lumina here to contest. Panther pins him to the wall, though, and we take him out. C-point looks okay. I'm going to fire a couple rockets in that direction just to keep Welkin off of it while I myself stay at A still. And there is not a lot of score left we need to get. Their team has finally kind of realized that B-point isn't what they need to be worrying about anymore. And they charge back in, but too late for them. We got enough points to get us over the threshold. And while there was a couple big swings in that match, went back and forth, we were able to defend enough in the end to get us the win. And despite dealing with Hurricane and a Welkin in our face, we were able to still get that Stego MVP. Very, very common MVP to see, especially early on, but I started to see a lot less of it because of those reasons I mentioned with people getting better at dealing with Stego. And I actually, gotta admit, I struggled a bit myself to find those Stego MVPs after the first couple days, but we were still able to get one here, so pretty happy with that. But yeah, that is Stego. You know, that's a striker that early on I was saying probably, you know, S tier, unbeatable, maybe best striker in the game. Now, I don't know. Still very good, but I think actually it really is a striker that if your team doesn't play around really well and the enemy team finds out ways to pressure you a lot, you're not really as unstoppable as you might have initially seemed. But that's going to be all for this time, guys. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time.